begin. I know that your mics are being muted, and you know that. As you come in with us today, we appreciate you being with us. Hope you're doing well, wherever you are in the world today. Please, if you have any questions, if you've been with us before, you know you should put those into the chat row. Mark and Jamie and everybody else will be trying to monitor them today. Ashley and Alyssa are actually in the studio, so they won't be able to monitor like normal, but they are still going to be trying, I think, from what I heard Ashley say, to do some of that. So don't send any private messages to the Travel With Us that's listed there in your chat roll because it's unmonitored. So if you send a message there or a question there, probably won't be answered. So you don't want to do that. So got a feeling you're going to have several questions for us today. So just go ahead and use that chat roll. So once again, thanks for being with us. We really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And it was so great to meet some of you on the tours that you were on in the Holy Land. And you mentioned that you watched the webinars regularly. So I appreciate that. And it was good to hear that you felt they'd been helpful. I'm still trying to catch up with the time zone changes. James, I came back, I left the country for a few weeks and everything's changed. The time changed, the season changed, the gas prices changed. My barber changed her prices. And so I haven't bought gas yet and I haven't gotten a haircut yet because I'm too cheap. So, but I have to get one soon because I'm starting, even my wife is talking about it. I have to get that done. So once again, welcome. If you haven't noticed it yet, it's St. Patrick's Day. Most of us are celebrating by wearing. I'm already reading. So I was excited to see that James, what you'll be wearing today, James, because mostly everything you have is blue. But you're on green today. So I'm surprised it's cold enough to in Florida to have on a fleece.
I have on my green fleece. It's 80 degrees outside, Tom. So yeah. I'm not saying this is going to be a strip show on this thing, but it is going to come off here pretty quickly. But you know, Tom, I was a nerd growing up, and I could never keep track of St. Patrick's Day. It just, I don't know why we didn't celebrate in our house, but we didn't. And so here in Florida, I don't know, Alyssa grew up in Florida too. The thing that you did in elementary school if someone didn't wear green was
pinch them.
You pinch them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you know, Tom, I couldn't take the chance here with Alyssa and Ashley in studio with me, so I went all in on the green.
That was probably a wise choice on your part, knowing those two. So, yeah, that's what we did in Kentucky too. We got pinched, but since I'm here by myself, I'd have to pinch me, and I'm kind of silly, but not quite that bad. So I won't do that. But thanks. I see you also have green drinks there. We got new sponsors here for the EO webinar. Little name tags like the NASCAR racers to put on our jackets and stuff later. You know, sponsored by and such and such shoe company and so we got a full agenda today, folks. If you're with us today, you've seen the social media posts going out and stuff. James is going to be talking with Ashley about what to expect as we move into Oberammergau travel. It's hard to believe that we're finally there, but things are about to get exciting. I know that folks there in Florida are ramping up and starting to get stuff out. So Alyssa and I then are going to get to share about, finally, it seems, Alyssa, our Jubilee celebration, the travel ministry with EO. We've been building up this moment, it seems like, for a long time. And that team has been working diligently to pull everything together. So I'm pumped up about sharing that with you a little bit later in our webinar. But first we want to talk about something that's up close and personal to us here, and that's the war in Ukraine. I was in the Holy Land when Russia invaded Ukraine, and to be honest, when I first saw things coming up on the screens there, it seemed pretty distant. I was thinking, well, that's not really close here, so everything's calm and we're doing well. And then I learned that one of our staff members had family in the Ukraine. I was texting back and forth with them on a very regular basis to see how they were doing and what was going on. And then one of our guides discovered that his wife and daughter were in Odessa and were desperately to get out of harm's way. And that's much, much closer and much more real for all of us there who in some ways Ukraine seemed a little bit distant, and and something, a place we didn't talk about a lot before the invasion. And then the day before I was leaving to come home, the Olive Tree where I was staying brought in about 70 rooms of refugees. And so meeting them in the elevators and in the dining area and in the common areas there. So we want to just talk about that for just a second today. And I'm going to be talking with James and Salma about our involvement there. So James, I know you were involved in the decision to bring the refugees to Olive Tree. Tell me a little bit about that and what's happening there now.
Well, obviously the war started, and the Israeli government is committed to bringing Jewish persons from around the world, home to Israel if that's what they desire, and they are doing that. And of course, the need came up of where to accommodate people, and the owners of the Olive Tree Hotel and ourselves, the largest client of the hotel, and I'm good friends with all the owners for a long time. We discussed, should we open up the hotel to some rooms to do our part in accommodating these refugees as they come to Israel. The Jewish ones making Aliyah there, of course, and then the non-Jewish refugees, just to give them some place to go to escape the war. So we decided we would do that. The hotel put in a bid to host refugees, and the bid was accepted. So I think the hotel can take up to 100 rooms of refugees, and that contract runs through Passover, the middle of April. So and we'll see if it gets extended or not extended there. So we are excited about the opportunity. I think for me, looking at it, and I drive down to Jericho all the time, and you pass the Inn of the Good Samaritan, and this is, for EO, this is our Good Samaritan moment. We're there in the hotel. Our guests are there in the hotel, and I just felt like we needed to do our part for these persons coming in. And God works in mysterious ways. I had one of our tour hosts, Julie Tucker, who traveled with us twice during COVID, led 2 groups. And she was actually messaging me as we learned we were going to accept refugees at the hotel. So she was just wondering if I knew anything about how to help in Israel in general. I was like, well, Julie, guess what? We have folks coming to the hotel. So, and obviously this is not something that we're necessarily have any experience in helping refugees, but it turned out Julie manages all disaster relief for the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod in Texas, and has a whole lot of experience with this. I was like, Julie, if you want to go and coordinate this effort for us, we will accommodate you there, and let's do this right and coordinate the funds or things that'll come. And I know, Tom, you're going to talk about that. So, and then I see Jamie here on the screen. Jamie's daughter's actually working on an advanced degree in this very subject in Germany. So the Lord had us, really prepared for this event, even though we didn't know we were preparing for it. So that's the background, Tom, but you've been there. I haven't been there yet. And of course, Salma's right there now. So love to hear more.
Yeah, thanks, James. We're really excited about this, and we're, Salma, as James mentioned, is right there. She's helping coordinating everything on the ground there. So, Salma, thanks for being with us from there at the Olive Tree. So, how many refugees do we currently have in the Olive Tree?
So, the number we have today is 120 refugee. We will be expecting another 20 rooms, which is like 40 people coming tonight or tomorrow. We are still waiting an update for the government. In total, we have 120 refugee. The rooms are 60 rooms. This is the final number, for today.
Tell me a little bit about them then, some of the folks that you're working with there and getting to meet and talk with.
So the 120, we have 15 kids from like, let's say toddlers, they're not like infants, from age 5 to 10 years old. We have around like 40 people above 60 years old. The situation for them, I met with a couple of them. It's really bad. It's even got all of us emotional here. They left their countries just with their papers, and like basic things. We started the campaign of from the EO side to collect fundings to help them, at least to cover the basic needs. They are in a need for a lot of medication. We've been trying to, provide it from our pastors, from churches. The last week in Jerusalem, it was really cold. We had like a little bit of snow too, so they were not even prepared in this. So today we went with Pastor Paul. We actually covered all the all clothing part for all the rooms, or all the refugees who are staying here, from jackets, shirts, everything that they need. We are still missing some medication because they need a doctor prescription. So we are still working on that.
Right. So I know that the night that we left, or that I left to come home, I just met with all of our hosts and passengers there in the Olive dining hall, and just said, "Hey, folks, this is what's going on." And we raised about $1,000 that night before I left to help out. How's that been going? Are people still being generous to us? And
actually, I have the minute that it was great that the minute we mentioned it, Tom, that night in 2 hours, we collected $1,200 in cash. I have also hosts here and like pastors. They want to write direct checks for us, direct to EO, to fund to help the refugees. But in cash until now, I have $1,200, and we are still collecting funds today because we've been mentioning it to every group that it's arriving to the olive tree.
great, thank you. So we really appreciate, Salma, all your efforts there and heading up things. I know that when Julie gets there, that y'all be able to coordinate together. And so what we want to do, folks, is give all of our hosts and guests an opportunity to help these people, because as Salma said, they arrive with the clothes on their back. And if you can imagine having to flee your home and leave everything that you've collected over the years behind. So if you'd like to do that, we have a link. Go ahead, Salma, I'm sorry.
No, I just want to mention last thing. Our program is not just a short-term program. We don't want to just help them for a week. The government is giving them accommodation at the hotel from 2 weeks to a month, free accommodations. But our program is, we want to follow up them after that. What's next? Provide also their needs after they leave the hotels. So we will really appreciate all your help, and they will appreciate it, to bless them with what they really need.
Great. So, well, thank you. I see that Ryan is putting up there in the chat roll right now the link. If you'd like to donate, you can go there and do that. It's through our nonprofit board there. So we appreciate any help that you want to give, and every dollar that you give will go straight to help these folks right there in the olive tree, and hopefully we'll be able to bless them. So, James, I've been amazed. I've seen it time and time again as people step up to help in situations like this. I'm never ceased to be amazed by the generosity to people that people don't know and they'll never meet. I mean, it touches me to the depths of my soul when I see that happening.
Our people have always been, and we're talking about our 50th anniversary today, but that's always been something about our guests. And this is what I tell anyone that maybe that is going to provide service to our guests is, our guests love to get to know who they're working with or who they're they're coming in contact with. And our guests are always so generous. So, and that was exhibited just by, Sunday night when you were there before you left to come home. Just the outpouring that you saw, that doesn't surprise me at all. That's always been a hallmark of EO travelers. So, it's again, I just think it's an opportunity for us to help there. Salma did mention the government is paying for breakfast and dinner, so Julie's going to try to come, and we're going to try to help out with lunches as well as those other needs. So, we don't know what happens after Passover. Israel is supposed to be supplying housing or other accommodations for these folks, but I mean, it seems like a lot of people coming to Israel every day from the Ukraine. So I haven't noticed just empty apartments sitting around around the country. So. Some of those folks may be there longer. I think we have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, some of them, they got already like apartments or condos, but if the government is not providing housing or it's not available, they will extend their stay a little bit. So it's not really clear. It's between 2 weeks to a month.
Thanks, Salma. Thanks for your work there, James. Thanks for EO and the ministry that we're able to be a part of. Really appreciate that. So you're going to talk with Ashley a little bit this morning, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. So we're gonna turn our attention to Oberammergau here, and we're getting ready for that. The summer season's rapidly approaching, maybe too quickly, but I can already see a team assembling our tangible final mailing items, and we'll show you what those are here in a little bit. So. Before we talk to Ashley, Kristen Karst, one of our regular guests on our webinars over the last couple years, and one of the owners of AMA Waterways, filed this report from the season opening Danube River cruise on the AMA Magna. So.
Hello, James and Joseph. I am sending you this very special message from our beautiful AMA Magna in Passau in Germany. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, all our guests have a wonderful time on board, everyone is feeling safe and comfortable. We started our journey in Vilshofen and today we are in Passau. We'll continue on to Linz tomorrow, from where we will visit Salzburg and Český Krumlov. Then go to the beautiful Wachau Valley, on to Vienna in Austria, Bratislava in Slovakia, and our final destination will be Budapest in Hungary. Looking forward to welcoming you and all your guests on board our beautiful AMA Magna and all our other ships on the rivers in Europe, Africa, and Asia. Thank you. See you soon.
We appreciate Christine spending a little bit of time with us there. So you can see the river cruise season has started, and we have a lot of river cruises this summer. So Kristen's been very upbeat about the beginning of the season. So Ashley, welcome again.
Thank you.
And you are, before we jump in here, you are a little Irish yourself.
Yes, if all of you couldn't tell, I'm very Irish.
Yeah, so it's a big day.
It's a big day. This is a very big day for me. So, I wasn't sure if I would make it onto the webinar, to be honest. But just kidding.
So, yeah, Oberammergau is around the corner, as we've talked about. It obviously comes with a lot of logistical challenges. So tell us about your preparations for your team, all the ground logistics that have to go on for Oberammergau.
So Oberammergau is honestly, for those of you who don't know, who haven't gone with us before, it's essentially like a big puzzle all summer long. We have all kinds of different programs interweaving and different buses going here and there. So what our preparation looks like is we have to plan that. We have to plan it in advance. So we've been working on that side of things, getting, assigning buses, getting all of that organized, making sure the hotels are set. And up to this point, all of that is smooth sailing. Everything's, functioning as it should. And then come like May, a lot of our team will transition actually to live and work in Innsbruck for the season. So that way we can help support, you know, everybody traveling with us, you know, over the summer. That way we're able to, you know, be there on ground on the same time zone to assist with anything. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. That's what it looks like from the logistics side.
So it's pretty cool to be able to work really anywhere in the world and get your job done.
I have to say, it's pretty amazing what this little tiny laptop can do. It's basically attached to me. It's always with me all the time. But yes, I can work anywhere, anytime, and working on the same time zone as all of our travelers will be pretty exciting. So I plan to see some of you over there, and I'll probably spend some time over there this summer personally.
I know you have the tangibles here. Before we talk about those, Tom mentioned we have one Ukrainian on our
Yes,
staff.
we do.
And Marina is on your team. Can you tell us a little bit about her?
Yeah, Marina is incredible. She actually works on the logistics team. She is kind of the behind the scenes kind of person, so you may not know her. She has served as hospitality in the past for us in Israel. So for those of you who know her, she has been in Israel before. You probably have met her. But yes, Marina grew up, was born and raised in Ukraine. She lives in Greece now, but she has family that lives there. And she is honestly brilliant. She does all the different logistics for us. She sends every little person that we have travel somewhere, she looks into them and makes sure that their arrangement is set how it should be. So yeah, that's a little bit about her.
Doing a great job. I asked her yesterday, she said her family is well. And Tom, I know you mentioned the guide. I also asked Nader how his wife and daughter were yesterday, and they literally just arrived yesterday from Ukraine. So they were able to get out of Odessa and came on a tourist visa. So he's got to work through some of the immigration challenges with that. But good news, you know, from those connected to EO that have family there. So Ashley, you've got samples of some of our, what we call in the office tangibles. But these are the items. Since the final documents now come electronically, you don't unless you print them out, you don't feel those. But these things you can touch and feel and hopefully use.
We call them tangibles just so it doesn't confuse anybody. We have two sets of documents. We have our e-documents that have all the content, the flight info, the hotels, but we also have the package that we send everyone normally. So for Oberammergau, we have a little bit more involved in that package. As you probably can see in front of me, we have a blanket. This is Oberammergau approved. You can bring this into the play and you can use it while you're watching because it may be cold some of the months. We have a bag like we normally send a bag, but it does have Passion Play on it, so it's official. Typical luggage tags, all of that. And then we have two different very, very, very cool study guides that we're sending. We have our Rob Fuquay book, and then we have Immersed in the Passion here by Peter Walker. So some of you who were traveling with us before in 2020 may have already seen this book. It's phenomenal. I would recommend both these books. But they'll be coming to everybody if you haven't already received it. And then if you go to Israel with us, you also get the Israel study guide. So it's a lot of reading, a lot of good material to prepare you for your trip. So we'll send this out a little bit in advance so that way you have some time to read the books, to get to know what you're going to be seeing, and obviously you got to bring your blanket to bundle up, and so that's kind of the plan right now for the package we're sending everybody.
And we've had all that stored for 2 years in the
Yes.
office, so we're really excited to
We're prepared.
to send this to you. So excited. So give us a timeline, Ashley, of when things are coming and.
So we will be sending, if you're taking a land tour with us particularly, you can expect to receive this particular package with all these items approximately 50 days before your tour. We'll try to ship them a little bit before that point, but of course, with some time it takes to get around the country, you can expect to receive that about 50 days. If you're taking one of our river cruises, it will be closer to 30 days, and that is because we do have some other exciting things from the cruise line. So that's why there's a little bit of a difference between land and cruises. And then after that, so you'll get your package from us, you can start your reading, kind of get excited, and we'll be in contact, obviously letting you all know what to expect next. About 30 days prior, we anticipate sending you your, we call them the final documents, which will be your electronic version. And that will have your flights, your hotels, all of that. And in that, we will also put your healthy travel guidelines. So we'll know a little bit more, okay, this is what you're looking at in terms of maybe potential testing, no testing, whatever happens. We'll know that about 30 days prior. And then if you're taking some of our programs we'll be pre-selling some optional tours. So you'll see those in your email as well. We expect to send those out at the end of this month. So
Good. And what items are really critical for you to get your job done that if we don't have them, that could delay finals?
The single most important thing is a passport copy. The passport copy that'll stop ticketing, so that's the most important thing. If you are vaccinated and you have your vaccine card, we just recommend you send that to us now. It's just better to have everything in-house here. We can organize it, get it into our system, and then we're good. So particularly the vaccine card and the passport copy are the most important. If you booked your own airfare, we also ask that you share your airfare or travel arrangements with us. That's just very helpful for us to know, so we know where we pick you up and drop you off. So,
good. That raises, I guess, one comment. We can take the passport copies, everything now via text message.
We can. We do have a text message number that when you receive your email from us, which some of you probably already have, requesting that documentation, we did put a texting number in there. So you can text it to us or you can email it to us. It's personal preference.
So you just take a picture and you send it to that number.
Literally just take it in the text message, start the message, take the picture, text it. And you get an automated reply that basically says, thank you for texting
We got
us.
it.
Yep.
Fantastic. You mentioned guests who are doing their own airfare and arriving. What your recommendation is that they arrive a day early?
My recommendation would be that if you are planning on doing your own airfare, that is no issue, but we recommend you come in a day early, and that simply is just because with a lot of the flight schedules that come to Munich, a lot of them come in the morning. So a lot of our groups will arrive in the morning, and then we'll take them on a tour around the Munich city, and then we'll take them to whichever village they're staying in or which town they're staying in, whether that's Innsbruck or one of the villages. So it's ideal that they come in a day early, so that way they have a moment to rest up. They could stay near the airport would be my recommendation. And then that way they can come back to the airport and meet the group upon arrival and get right on that bus. Their luggage will be safe under the bus. They can enjoy the city tour and get that ride over to their proper city or town that they're going to after that.
Having looked at a lot of the flight schedules their department's doing, I can see a lot of early arrivals.
Mornings, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want to be playing catch up that first day, so that's great advice. You mentioned optional touring.
Yes.
We have some standard optional touring that we will pre-sell.
Yes, we
Can you
do.
tell us about that?
So we have a, basically it's, I don't want to say it wrong, it's the Nordkettbahn, right?
Yes.
Yes, so we have the gondola ride up to there, up into the mountains. So they call it the Jewel of the Alps. It's a stunning ride. So we will be pre-selling that on some of the various itineraries. If you have seen us advertise the Stubai Glacier, this is just a replacement for that. It's a very similar experience. So both of those we will be selling in advance. And then we have the new Schwanstein Castle, which I'm sure many of you are very familiar with. And we have the Aachensee and Rottenburg experience. So the Aachensee, it's basically like a nice boat ride, and then you go to the Rottenburg town, which is famous for its glass blowing. So you'll see a little demonstration there. I personally, that's one of my favorite things, so I would highly recommend that. But those will all be pre-sold if your particular itinerary offers that optional, and you can buy it in advance, and we will actually publish in your documentation that you purchased it. So you'll have confirmation you've got it.
Okay. So then folks who have those options will have an email from us, and then they can register from the email.
Yes, the plan is to send that at the end of this month. You'll get the email, you just sign up through there, you can pay through that email, and we just add it to your account and book it for you in advance.
Okay. And then we'll have the pricing at the end of the month in the email.
Exactly. We're still working on finalizing the pricing, so once I get that locked down, we can send out that email. Some of you also are taking tours that do have optionals You might have, various things. I know like the SW program, our Switzerland and Oberammergau program that has, optionals in Interlaken, but those particular optionals, you'll purchase those with cash while you're touring. So these ones that I just mentioned are the ones that we're only pre-selling. We're not taking cash over in Austria for them.
Yeah, the boat ride in Lucerne is always
that's
a highlight for folks that they'll just be able to purchase there on the tour.
Perfect.
Right.
So
we talked. Can you give us an update just on where we stand in terms of health?
Sure,
protocols or what? I mean, and we're still working our way through the season. Seems like it's getting easier and easier.
Things are definitely getting easier and easier. I mean, obviously we had a pretty exciting March season in Israel, so things are getting a little easier. More people are welcome into Israel, so that's exciting. From Oberammergau standpoint, we're still waiting on some updates from the European Union. I know right now the most strict probably of the countries that you all will go to in your various itineraries is Germany. As it currently stands today, Germany is still requiring a vaccine. Honestly, I don't predict the future here, but I do anticipate that relaxing by the summertime.
Because most of the rest of Europe is only, you can have the vaccine or you can have a test or...
And that's honestly why I anticipate it relaxing, is because like Austria and most of the other countries that our itineraries visit, Switzerland, Italy, they might have a testing requirement, so it's vaccine or test, but you don't have to be vaccinated to visit. So I think that I do anticipate that relaxing in Germany. Germany is currently the one that's the most strict right now. We just have to pay special close attention to them because all of you will fly into or out of Germany.
Out of Germany, right.
Yeah.
I think they're reviewing their rules again next week.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, I thought it was the end of the month.
Read this morning. So Ashley, tell us the final thing here. How are we going to be communicating with guests?
We have a lot of different various communication methods. We obviously send out emails. You'll get our we're resuming our regular email blast, so you can anticipate seeing those. But whenever we request information from you, that will also come via email. So if I know there's a passport missing for you and your group, we'll send out an email. So always check your email for that. But we also have social media posts and blog posts on our EO Update website. EO Update is a personal favorite because we have a lot of interesting, fun videos and testimonials as well. So I would stay up to date as well on EO Update. But another thing we're planning on doing is having some monthly Zoom calls with our tour hosts to kind of just go over pre-departure information, just to explain, okay, this is what we're anticipating in terms of testing or maybe various health requirements. So that's the current plan. We haven't set our schedule yet officially for that, but I think all of you can kind of anticipate hearing from us maybe on a more personal level on a Zoom call. So that's something that would be helpful for you and your groups as well. If you need us to personally come, speak with your group over Zoom or in person as well, we ask you let us know, because we can do that too. And then last but not least, we're going to have a specific page on our website that's going to be, and I think it's up on the screen now, that particular page is going to be available to everybody. You can share that out. We're going to update that regularly, but we will have our Oberammergau travel updates there. So when/if Germany changes their rules, you'll see it published there. So we ask that you definitely favorite this, star it on your browser, and check this periodically. We will try very hard to put relevant information on there.
Ashley, we appreciate you coming on. I don't know how you have time to actually sit here with us. I know you've got lots of things happening today. But appreciate all the preparations you've been doing. And I mean, I know for you, and Alyssa was on that team ahead of 2020. Mm-hmm. I mean, this has been like 2-3 years now of planning for this
It's been
event.
a lot of years.
So.
It's planning and then undoing the planning and then replanning. So yeah. We've been busy.
Yeah. So we appreciate all of your hard work. Tom, back to you.
Hey, thanks, James. Thanks, Ashley. Really excited about Oberammergau and getting to finally see people go there, because I know it's been a dream of a lot of people to do that for a couple of times. And we've got a couple of questions that we'll bring up when James does the update on travel here a little bit later, about some questions pertaining to Holy Land and stuff. But when Dr. Ridgway founded EO, I mean, he knew he had to, that many lives, churches, and communities would be changed because of the ministry. And I can't tell you the exact numbers over the years, but currently we have had over 60,000 people sign up as tour hosts. So if each one of those persons over the years averaged 10 people, that's all that ever traveled with them. Just think of the number of people, churches, and communities that have been touched by this ministry. Isn't that amazing? I mean, so EO was founded in 1973. Our first trip was in 1974. So we had a little bit of a debate. Do we celebrate our 50th year in 1973 when we were founded, or 1974 when we had our first trip? And so, being really good, studious people, we compromised and said, let's celebrate both years. So we're going to launch our 50th year celebration in 2023, celebrating what God has allowed us to do. And we want to invite you to join with us. So watch this video that Ryan and the team have for us.
For 50 years, EO has changed individual lives, ministries, and the church through Christian travel. God has showered EO with His grace over the past half a century, from our humble beginnings to surviving 9/11 to today. Now it's time to celebrate and thank our many hosts, guests, and partners that have come alongside us throughout the years. EO is excited to present a year of Jubilee journeys. Come celebrate with us as we venture to new locations all over the world on fresh, faith-filled adventures where the destination is only the beginning. EO will partner with familiar and new speakers, musicians, and special guests never before featured on an EO journey to create 5 exclusive experiences that will include concerts, banquets, and special events. We will commemorate the very first group EO founder Dr. Jim Ridgway ever led during our trip to Edinburgh, Scotland. We will rejoice and reconnect with longtime friends in Jerusalem during days of festivities. We will rekindle joy during a spectacular Alaskan cruise. We will enjoy the sights of Europe within the cozy atmosphere of our own chartered Alma Waterways River cruise ship. And we will witness the birthplace of New Testament churches during a luxurious Mediterranean cruise. These 5 experiences will transcend the best EO has ever offered. You won't want to miss out on these once-in-a-century memories. We will also set our eyes upon new horizons in Thailand, Peru, Armenia, Tanzania, Australia, and more. These countries hold brand new itineraries for EO. See Mount Kilimanjaro, explore the first ever Christianized country. Cross the space between Sydney's sophistication and the untamable Australian outback. Sail along the mysterious Amazon River. Behold World War II history protected within the Orient, and so much more. Plus, there will be more pre- and post-tour options than ever. We can't wait to share memories, cast future visions, and savor a year-long worldwide jubilee of gratitude with you. Celebrate the hope, joy, and renewed faith you have helped bring to the world. Come, travel with us as we thank God for 50 years of changing lives, ministries, and the church through Christian journeys of a lifetime.
Great, thanks. We appreciate that, Ryan and team. We've got Alyssa here in the studio with us. We're excited. You may recognize Alyssa. She's been on with webinars before, directs our EOX Small Group Tours Division. She's also tasked with leading the team that designed our Jubilee celebration. And a lot of folks work behind the scenes really hard to pull all that together. So thanks to all of them, Alyssa. But tell us a little bit about the vision for Jubilee and why it's so exciting for us.
Thanks, Tom. So this is definitely a very exciting time for us here at EO. We are coming up on our 50th anniversary here. And after the last 2 years, you know, it is definitely a reason for celebration. So for the Jubilee, we're planning to visit unique destinations all over the world. You'll see that we're visiting almost every continent, with Antarctica being the last one that we don't have listed on the Jubilee. But of course, we will always have our Antarctica cruise. And we just want to take this time to celebrate with all of our guests and hosts, and thank you for coming along on this ride with us for 50 years.
Thanks, Alyssa. You know, so tell us a little bit about what makes these journeys unique. What's different about them?
So you'll see with our itineraries, once we go through them, a lot of them are brand new destinations that we've never visited before. You're going to see some unique speakers that we may not have had in the past. We're going to have special events, and maybe this is going to be the only time we offer some of these itineraries. So they're definitely going to be something that you don't want to miss.
Yeah, exciting. So let's start out with sharing a little bit about some of them, Alyssa. Let's talk about what Ryan, I think, has been calling our gala events, our exclusive 5.
Yep, so we are going to have 5 events throughout 2023 and 2024 that are going to be our really big celebrations. So you'll see those on your screen here. Our first one is going to kick off with the Alaska cruise in August 2023, followed by a Mediterranean cruise, the Holy Land in January 2024, a river cruise, and we will end with our Scotland program.
Great. So give us a little bit more details in about the Alaska cruise, if you could.
Sure. So there's going to be some information coming up here. It is going to be on board Ovation of the Seas, which is a newer ship with Royal Caribbean. So very, very nice. August 18th to 25th. We have actually already confirmed our special guest for that. So we'll be joined by Stan Copeland, and our musical entertainment will be Al Denson. And we do have a really awesome early registration discount we're offering right now, as well as 1 night of free specialty dining. And those offers are through September 30th of this year. So you definitely will want to sign up before then. Registration is already open for this one. And then following the Alaska cruise, we have our Passages of the Bible cruise. And I'm not sure if we've ever offered this itinerary before, at least not while I've been here. It is an incredible itinerary. It is really what EO is known for. So it's going to be round trip out of Athens, Greece. And you're going to be visiting Israel, Egypt, and Turkey. And some of those ports actually have an overnight, so that will be super exciting. And of course, we will have our special Jubilee events there, and registration is also open on that one now.
Great.
We'll have a guest speaker on that one.
Yes,
so.
we will have a guest speaker, hopefully to be announced very, very soon.
I talked to the guest speaker yesterday,
Ooh,
so we will have to have an interview or something with him, but
Yes.
that's really exciting. I'm
Definitely a really good one. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have our Holy Land, which of course is probably one of my absolute favorite programs because it is something super unique to what we typically offer. So you'll see starting prices listed at the top for these. For this one, you're going to see 2, and we will get into why there are 2 different prices on there in a little bit. And we'll also be talking more about what you're seeing on the screen, the 4 different tracks to choose from. So basically, instead of having the whole group have one set touring schedule, we want to have options for people. I mean, maybe they've already been to the Holy Land. They don't want to do our standard classic itinerary. They want to do something a little more archaeology based or a little more active. We're going to talk about what those options are for them. We will, of course, have tons of exclusive events that we're going to be offering there with all of our different partners that we've been working with over the last 50 years, and a bunch of different pre- and post-tour options. You'll see some of those listed on your screen. There is one still in the works that is going to be super, super exciting if we end up being able to offer it. And so stay tuned for that one. But we did also want to let you know that even if you're already planning your January trip to the Holy Land, there is still an opportunity for you to lead your own tour before or after, and then still join on with the Jubilee, either as an individual or have your group offer it as an extension. There's definitely some flexibility there.
Yeah, we're gonna. Alyssa and I got to we got to really go and play here with some of these tracks. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But
Yeah, Ashley may kill us once we start telling all these
Very
details.
excited.
It's definitely going to be a fun time.
It is going to be amazing.
Okay, next up we have our Tulip Time River Cruise. So if you guys have not done this river cruise before, it is absolutely beautiful. I actually got to do this one back in 2016, and I can still picture the tulips to this day. Of course, it's going to be on an AMA Waterway ship, which of course has top-notch service. So definitely one that you will want to sign up for, and we're offering an Amsterdam pre-tour there as well if you'd like to come in a little bit early. And then our last program for our Big 5 Jubilee celebrations is going to be in Scotland. And you're probably asking, Alyssa, why are we doing Scotland when today is St. Patrick's Day? We should be doing Ireland. But surprise to me, actually, our first program that EO offered was not to the Holy Land. It was to Scotland. So we're kind of going back to our roots there and remembering that first program. So we wanted to make sure to include that as well. And there will be lots of new pre and post tour options that we're offering there. So we'll have a Scottish history, a Scottish adventure, Wales, all kinds of different options there.
Exciting, Alyssa. Really looking forward to getting to visit with all these different places. But we've got others that are going to be a bit smaller. These are our big events. These are, we hope to be really large events, but we got some that are a bit smaller. Why don't you tell us a brief introduction about each of those real quickly?
Yeah, so these are ones that I am super excited for. These are the destinations you're going to see that you're probably like, wow, EO's never offered that one. So really exciting. First up, we are going to have Armenia, and this is going to be September 12th of 2023. And we're going to go into a little bit more detail on this later with Jamie, because he is actually leading it as like a dialogue tour. He has a lot of experience in Armenia, and he'll tell you why you definitely won't want to miss this one. But some highlights there, you will have a missions day included, and you'll have a post tour to Georgia, the country, not the state. And you can also go ahead and register for that one. It's already ready. Next up, we have Tanzania, which seems to be almost everyone's favorite that they're most excited about. This one is going to be September 24th of 2023, and we are offering a Zanzibar post tour, which if you're not familiar with Zanzibar, it's like a beachy island type vibe, so you can get to go relax there, do a spice tour. During your Tanzania, you'll get to do some different game drives, see the Big 5 hopefully, and this will definitely be limited space. So if this is something that you're interested in, you'll definitely want to sign up quickly, because I have a feeling this one will be selling out ASAP. And then moving on, starting in 2024, in February, we will be doing Australia and the Outback, which typically we only offer Australia as a cruise. So this is pretty cool that we're getting to do a land tour. So you'll be flying into Sydney, spending a couple days there, doing a little bit of touring, having a free day, and then flying from Sydney over to the Outback, where you'll get to see Uluru, spend a couple nights in the Outback before returning back home. And we're also offering an optional pre-tour to the Great Barrier Reef there. This one is still a work in progress, so unfortunately can't register just yet, but stay tuned for more information on that one. Then next up, we have, I think this one's Ashley's favorite.
Actually, we were favorite.
Just talking about we were talking about it yesterday, trying to convince James to send us. You know, we have to check out.
We have to look at
Peru first. So we're doing an Amazon River cruise, which will be a combination of land and cruise. So you'll fly into Lima, stay one night there, and then move on to the Amazon River cruise, where you'll float down the Amazon and then come back to Lima, do a little bit of touring there before hopefully extending your stay and going on to Machu Picchu. So this one is absolutely limited space. Only 26 people total will get to take this. So just like Tanzania, if this is something that you're interested in, definitely sign up right away. Registration for this one, I believe, will be opening next week. So keep an eye out for that.
Now, Alyssa, that is a ground-only price.
Yep, the
ground cruise only.
Yeah, the $32.98 is a land-only price, and that's just because it's such limited space that probably people will be coming from all over the country. We were actually looking at flights yesterday to see what the options are there. There are tons of different options. Even Spirit Airlines was flying there.
That still shocks me.
We're shocked. So JetBlue flies there. I think American, a couple different South American options. So you'll definitely have options there. And the flights were very decently priced, just a couple $100s. So not bad at all. Okay. Next up is Morocco. This one will be in May of 2024. And you'll see some of the highlights there. So you'll get to spend some time in Casablanca, Marrakesh. You'll get to have a desert dinner experience and more. That one is still a work in progress as well. So if this is something you're interested in, let us know and we will let you know once that is available for registration. And then our final tour to close out our Jubilee will be November of 2024, and we will be going to Thailand. So we'll have a little tuk-tuk food tour on arrival. You'll see some different waterfalls and temples. We were actually looking at the hotels that we're going to be using, which is really unique. One of them is actually like a little house on a river, on the River Kwai, actually. So definitely a cool experience there. And that price, $29.98, includes your airfare. So super cheap there, very affordable place to visit. So really exciting.
Great. Well, thanks, Alyssa. Thank you and the team. Y'all worked really hard to pull everything together. And I know that most of these, if the staff could take them, would be full already because we're all lining up to say, go there. I want to go there. So, I keep getting torn. I want to go to Tanzania. I want to go to Australia. I mean, golly, gee whiz, that's really cool. So hope that all of you are wrestling with that same thing. So you mentioned more details about the Holy Land in Armenia. Let's chat with Jamie for just a second about Armenia. And Jamie's going to give us all that excitement about why we should go there. So, hey, Jamie, how are you, sir?
Great, Tom.
Good to see you. Thanks for being with us. So Armenia is a new destination for EO, and I know you're excited about it personally because of your experience there. So tell us about why that it should be a part of our bucket list.
So I got involved with Armenia back in 1993, 94, and 95 after the collapse of the Soviet Union. The Armenian Apostolic Church sent 3 businessmen to the United States. They'd heard about a Coats for Russia project that the United Methodist Church had done, and they came to North Carolina to find out if there was a way that we could help. And literally within a couple of months, we had folks who went to Armenia. I was asked to go in 1995 to look at taking mission teams and what we could do to work with them to help rebuild. And so for 29 years now, our annual conference and the North Carolina Conference of the United Methodist Church have had a mission project in Armenia. We have literally built schools, water systems to cover entire villages. We've opened hospitals, clinics, orphanages. And in the recent conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, we actually helped with another refugee crisis with folks who were having to move from the homes that they had lived in for the last 30 years almost. I was actually fortunate to lead teams in and out of Armenia for almost a decade. I was there usually for about 3 weeks a year, developed a really special relationship with the people there. But one of the things that I found out when I went, and honestly, I didn't know that much about it, it was the smallest of the former republics of the Soviet Union. But I found out that Armenia is actually the oldest Christian country in the world. They converted to Christianity in 301 AD, 3 years before Constantine declared the Roman Empire to be the Holy Roman Empire. So it's the oldest Christian nation. They traced the roots back to the 1st century with the visits of the apostles Thaddeus and Bartholomew, who came and brought Christianity into the country. You have churches there that are 1,700 years old now, that date back to the beginning, monasteries and churches that are all over the country. And so it's an amazing place. When we started talking about what to name this trip, I suggested Hidden Gem of Christianity because most of us don't know that much about it or about the Armenian Apostolic Church. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity to see and experience that.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of jealous but it's exciting to see all of our guests get to make that trip.
Folks will have a wonderful time. I'll tell you, 30 years ago, had a really hard time finding the infrastructure there to be able to take groups, but things have changed there in the 30 years. And so I look forward to being a part of that journey and sharing that story in a place that I've come to love over the last 30 years and with all the folks who want to travel with us.
Great, thanks. So folks, now it's going to be a limited number of folks who can go. So get signed up for that. Register your interest so we'll know and we can get you over there with Jamie. And I know that you'll have a great time traveling with him and everyone else there. So we're going to talk about the Holy Land because this is the Holy Land. We do it a lot. We've got a lot of folks in the Holy Land right now, but this is the Holy Land done differently. So James and Alyssa, how are we going to make this different, Alyssa? What's going to be unique about it?
So if we have ever offered a tour that has something for everyone, I think this one is it. I think there are so many different options that'll help you attract maybe guests that haven't traveled with you before, and also ones that have, because we're giving them so many different options. James will be talking about our hotels. Like I was saying, we are giving 2 different pricing options. So we're giving the option for guests to either stay in Bethlehem at the lower price or Jerusalem at a little bit higher price. So we can offer different price ranges, have something that works for everyone. We'll also have our unique events there. So we'll be celebrating with our friends in Bethlehem. We'll be doing a special sound and light show for just our guests and all kinds of different things, Tom.
Great, that's exciting. So James, tell us about the hotels.
For the program, we'll be in Jerusalem. We'll be staying at the Olive Tree. We've obviously this has been our base hotel for since the end of 1999. So we're excited to be having some of the celebrations there. And then in Bethlehem, if you choose to stay in Bethlehem, you can choose either or. Bethlehem's a little bit less expensive if budget is a concern. We'll be using the St. Joseph. We're also using we'll be using a new hotel, which is opening this summer. So we're excited about that. We'll see that incorporated into the itineraries even this fall. So and then you will base there and go out on the different tracks.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the tracks there. Options that we've got, just real briefly, Alyssa, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So there are 4 different options, and we've been calling them tracks. These are going to be your different touring options. So we'll start with our iconic track, which is kind of like if you wanted to do a Holy Land Classic kind of tour. So you'll have your sites that you see on a lot of our tours: the Church of the Nativity, Mount of Olives, Masada, Israel Museum, Yad Vashem, those kinds of things. And then we have Holy Land Uncovered, which is our archaeology track. So you'll get to visit the city of David, Samaria, do a sifting at Emexarim. We have my personal favorite, Life Today in an Ancient Land, which is our contemporary track. So a lot of time you'll be spending in like food markets. You get to do a challah making class, do some unique sites in the old city that typically we don't go to. You'll also get to visit Tel Aviv, which is very rarely on our itinerary, so that's super exciting. And then for our more adventurous guests that would like to do some hiking, we have Adventurous Pathways. So this one, you'll get to visit a Bedouin camp, have a Jeep ride, and have some tea with the Bedouins, visit the Herodian, do the Wadi Kelt hike, and then hike a portion of the trail from Jerusalem to Emmaus.
Well, we've got lots of different options there for us. We're going to have pre and post tours, and it's my understanding, am I correct there, that a host could possibly choose a track, but a guest could choose something different from their track. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we figure that most hosts will probably have an idea of what they're wanting to offer their group, but to keep the options open for everyone and really be able to appeal to everyone, we will allow guests to choose their own track. it'll actually be part of their registration form. So from the moment they register, they will be required to choose that track.
Great, thanks. So, well, folks, now that the cat is out of the bag, I know you're going to want to join us for one or more of these events. Some of them, as Alyssa pointed out, are quite limited in space, so don't wait to reserve your spot. You can use your Explorer Perks point on all these trips too. Remember that. I want to toss that in there for you. Alyssa told me that there's a special form on the Jubilee landing page for you to request personalized brochures. So you don't have to log into your account or call into the office to start the process. Go there, fill out that form at the website that Ryan has up on the screen for you now. So start planning with your church, your family, your friends to be a part of this historic event. As it was mentioned early on, this is a one-time only event, right? I mean, 50 years only comes around one time. And I don't think we'll be here for the centennial event. I mean, me personally won't be here for the centennial event. The EO will be, but it won't be. So don't miss it. We want you to be a part of that. So thanks, James and Alyssa, for the information. But James, why don't you share any travel updates you have with us right now, if you could do that?
Sure, really excited about the Holy Land, Tom. I definitely went into the. We definitely sort of got everything out of the. Everything we always really wanted to do, which we really never can put into an itinerary. We some of these different tracks. So, and I just know through the years, some of our tours would really like to do the adventuresome track, but don't have the, folks traveling with them that really can do that. So, and that's why we said if you want to have your normal tour before or after, you can do that and then come do some of the archaeology and dig in some of those places or do some hiking. It's just some of the fun things I've done through the years, which it's just hard to really incorporate into something that you can just do over and over again. So we're gonna really have some, I think, some fun here. And one thing we didn't mention in that, and I know this isn't the update part, but I'm taking liberties. All those days, one day we finish in Bethlehem, so they all have some kind of contemporary element where you can interact with Palestinian Christians one way or the other. We didn't really highlight that, but you'll see that in those tracks, that all roads lead to Bethlehem one night, and we have a pretty nice celebration going to happen there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give away all the details yet, Got to get them excited for some kind of secrets.
Okay.
There's more to come.
Okay, I'll stop.
A lot more excited.
Back to, and we talked about Armenia real quickly. Another person on Ashley's team is actually Armenian, and his family is, for centuries been in the Armenian quarter in Jerusalem. So Savannah always watches, and I just didn't want us to pass by Armenia without giving her a shout out as well. So Tom, on the updates, everything's just opening up. We talked about Australia as one of those places. I know they're open or opening. I saw even New Zealand, which was like a fortress impregnable, is opening on May 2. Countries are just opening around. England has totally lifted every restriction. You don't have to take a test. You don't have to fill out their terrible PLF form anymore. So that's good. Greece is very similar, I think.
Greece just dropped their PLF form. Same idea. It's either you're vaccinated or you have to get a test with Greece. So.
Right. So the cruise lines, we had the cruise line, a lot of the cruise lines here last week, they are still sticking to their vaccination requirement for the foreseeable future. They had no update for me on that particularly. So they're still very, very sensitive to that. But on a positive note, I saw the CDC lowered cruising now to level 2, which is lower than it's been throughout this pandemic. So just a lot of positive news, Tom.
Great, that's exciting. So it was exciting to be in Jerusalem to see a parking lot full of buses there. I mean, it got to be kind of hard to find a parking spot there, which was really, they were jumping up and down there. So, and every shop owner just walking around with a smile on their face all over the Holy Land. So that was great. So folks, thank you for being here today. We're going to let you go here in just a second. But I'm trying to make sure we answered all the questions that were in the chat roll there. I think the only one I see, Ashley, from Stan here, it says, can a couple who chose option 1 in 2020 use their vouchers toward the Switzerland extension?
The vouchers can be used for any travel except Oberammergau travel. So that's how they're set up. I hope that answers Stan's question.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure we got the rest of them here.
I know I missed my chat roll duty today. Alyssa and I are usually there.
I know, and I'm used to you being there and answering all these questions with all your expertise and stuff. And Mark and Ryan have tried desperately to live up to your high bar, but I just want to make sure we didn't drop anything. So I'm going back through to look through there. We did have a question about final documents. You mentioned 30-day final documents for Oberammergau, somebody from the Holy Land. Will that apply to the Holy Land? And should they be looking for those things? And Mark just said we're trying to get those out, but.
Our goal for Holy Land, just so everybody knows, is really going forward. We would like to hit the 2 to 3 week mark for final documents. Right now, they're not going out at 2 to 3 weeks. And really part of that is because we are just 2 months out from the opening. So we're still on January 9th, we kind of hit the ground running. We had a group immediately leave 4 days later. So we're just playing a little bit of a catch-up game there, but I would anticipate in the next few months, we'll get back to the regular scheduled programming for that.
Yeah, Ashley's, working incredibly hard here. The biggest challenge is the, again, on the January 9th announcement was made January 6th, so it's not like we had a whole 2 days to figure everything out. And at that point, I think you probably could have made a lot of money off us here that no way that country opens on January 9th.
We didn't think.
So doing the prudent thing for everyone was not holding airspace. So the air department is just having to play catch up in that 90-day window, because the penalties for us start if we're holding airspace at 90 days. So anything within 90 days of really January 9th, they were just starting from scratch. So that's really where the challenge been, and they're working very hard in the air department too.
Well, and then it's real complicated by throwing in the unvaccinated wide open too.
Yeah.
And so
then we got the unvaccinated, which we got like a week's warning for that. So I guess we should be happy. So yeah, the never-changing rules have made life very interesting.
So well, thanks to everybody there in the studio. Thanks, Ashley, Alyssa, James. We appreciate it. Ryan, Shelby, John, all of you behind the cameras and the scenes there. Jamie, Salma, for all you're doing over in the Holy Land right now. We appreciate that. And thanks to all of you who are joining us. We really, really appreciate it. Our next webinar will be on March 31st. It's going to be for tour hosts only. So it will not be on Facebook. It will just be on the Zoom call. And then we will have another one in April that will be open to everyone. So thanks again. We really appreciate it. Be safe out there. Go in peace. God bless you. Talk to you soon.